Hello students, I am Krishna Kanjani from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. Welcome to the online lecture series on kinematics and theory of machine. In today's session, we will learn about gear train. Okay, so let's start this session with first types of gear train. So in our previous session, we have learned that there are mainly four types of gear train, in which the fourth type of gear train, which is known as a epicyclic gear train. Now let's quickly revise this epicyclic gear train. So we are simply able to identify that when one body is able to move around any other body, then this type of motion is known as a epicyclic motion. Okay, so now you can refer from this diagram. We can consider that if the A gear, which is mounted in the center of this assembly, then gear B will be rotating about this gear A, and similarly your arm which is connecting this gear A and gear B will be also moving around this body. Okay, so this type of assembly will work in such a manner that you can refer this diagram. Okay, now the subtype of this epicyclic gear train is known as a sun and planet gear train. Now let's refer figure of this type of gear train. So over here you can refer that this central gear, now this central gear is known as a sun gear because it is mounted in the center, and the other three gears are mounted on the periphery of this gear. Okay, so these gears are known as a planet gears, and this sun gear and planet gear, they are connected with this arm. Okay, so this arm is a joining component of these sun and planet gears. Okay, and around this assembly one more type of gear which is known as a ring gear is mounted. Okay, now this ring gear is also termed as a annular gear because it is around the periphery of this sun and planet arrangement. Now one more thing about this ring gear is that if you refer this diagram, then your sun gear is again having a external type of gear teeth, your planet gears will be also having external type of gear teeth, but the ring gear is containing internal type of gear teeth. Okay, now if you refer the motion of this type of assembly, then let's consider that arm of this assembly is fixed. If you refer this diagram, then in this diagram, if you are fixing arm of this assembly, so in that case, if you are giving rotation to your central gear which is known as a sun gear, then due to rotation of this central sun gear, your planetary gears are also rotating, but they are rotating on their own axis. They are not moving around the periphery of this sun gear. But if you are fixing the rotation of this sun gear in this way, if you are fixing this rotation of this sun gear, you can refer this diagram. So in that case your sun and planet gears will be moving in such a way that it is making an assembly in which your sun gear is at center and your all planetary gears are moving around the periphery of this sun gear. Now second fundamental about this arrangement, that if you are connecting this sun gear and this planet gear, so in that case you can refer that sun gear is rotating in clockwise direction. So in that case your planetary gears are rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So you can refer that if you are considering your central gear over here, that sun gear is rotating in clockwise direction, then your planet gears will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction, as they both are made up of external type of gear tooth. Okay, but with respect to that, if you consider this annular gear, so in that case you can refer that the direction of motion of this planet gear as well as your annular gear both are same. Okay, so over here you can refer that your planet gear is moving in anti-clockwise direction, so the whole annular gear or the ring gear is also rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, let's solve one numerical which is containing sun and planet gear assembly so that you can refer this fundamental more clearly. Now in this assembly, if you refer, epicyclic gear consists of three gears, that is gear A, B and C as shown in figure. So in this diagram you can refer that it is made up of mainly three gears, this is gear A, gear B and gear C. Okay, now the gear A has 72 internal teeth. Okay, so first data they have given that number of teeth of gear A is equal to 72, and if you refer this diagram, then this gear A is a ring gear, so we can say that it is an internal type of gear teeth. Now second data, gear C has 32 external teeth. Now the second data is given about gear C, so we can say the teeth of gear C is equal to 32. Now next one, the gear B meshes with both the gear A and C. So we can identify that your gear B is meshing with both the gear, that is C and gear A, and it is carried on an arm EF. So the next one is your arm. Okay, so now to join this B and C, we have to connect them with this arm, and this arm is rotating about the center of gear A and it is rotating at 18 rpm. Okay, so now the next data that is given as speed of arm. So we can say the N of arm is given, that is equal to 18 rpm. Okay, so we can simply identify the data that TA is equal to 72, TC is equal to 32 and N arm is equal to 18 rpm. Now they have not given the direction, so always remember one fundamental, that in case of gear train we have assumed that we will consider always anti-clockwise direction as a positive direction and clockwise direction movement as a negative direction. Okay, so over here let's consider it as a positive, so that's why assuming that it is moving in a anti-clockwise direction. So now to solve this numerical, we will use the tabular method. Okay, so in that case we have to draw one table which is containing the condition of motion and revolution of each and every elements. Okay, so let's draw one table for this assembly. So now in this case, as we can refer, that first column is containing the condition of motion and the second column is containing revolution, or we can say the RPM of each and every element. Okay, now so over here we have to make list of RPM of all the elements. So let's first list out each and every element. So remember one more thing, that in each and every numerical we will always consider the arm as a first element. Okay, we will always mention the arm first. So over here your arm EF is considered as a first element. Now let's consider the second element. So now let's start with the central portion. So gear C, that is your second element. Now this gear C is connected with gear B and this gear B is connected with gear A. So we will select in the same sequence gear C, then gear B and then gear A. Okay, now let's consider the first condition where it is given that your arm is fixed. Okay, so we have to fix our arm in each and every epicyclic gear train. So when we will fix this arm, so now all the gears, that is gear B, gear C and gear A, they can be treated as a simple gear train. Okay, so that's why we will always fix our arm in this assembly. Okay, so now let's consider that arm is fixed and gear C rotates through +1 revolution, that is in anti-clockwise direction. So for assumption purpose, they have considered that gear C is rotating with 1 revolution in anti-clockwise direction, and we can consider for anti-clockwise as a plus. So they have considered that gear C is rotating with +1 revolution. Now the gear C is connected with gear B. So from the equation of gear C we can find out the equation of gear B. Now how we can calculate this? So we have a simple relation, that speed of gear B upon speed of gear C is equal to teeth of gear C upon teeth of gear B. Okay, now this is a very simple fundamental, that you have to always consider that speed is always inversely proportional to the number of teeth. Okay, so in this case if you want to calculate the speed of gear B, so you have to multiply this speed of gear C over here. Okay, so let's consider TC by TB into NC. Now speed of gear E is +1, so we can simply write down that the final equation will be TC upon TB. Okay, now the minus sign. Okay, so you can refer that your gear C is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Over here you can refer that your gear C is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So in that case your gear B will be rotating in a clockwise direction. So that's why you have to put minus sign for clockwise direction. Okay, so in this way you can derive equation for gear B. Now equation for gear A. Now gear A is connected with gear B. So in that case we can use the relation that speed of gear A upon speed of gear B is equal to teeth of gear B upon teeth of gear A. Okay, now over here we have to consider the speed of gear B. So now the equation for speed of gear B that we have derived over here, that is minus TC by TB. Okay, so we have to consider that if you remove this element from this segment, then over here you have to write down that minus of TC upon TB. Now in this diagram you can refer that TB can be cancelled out. So your final equation will be minus Tc upon Ta. Okay, so that is mentioned over here. So in this table you can refer that speed of gear A is equal to minus Tc upon Ta. Okay, now after identifying this first condition, now the next condition that we have to consider, that if we are considering this gear C with plus x revolution rather than plus 1 revolution. Okay, so we are simply replacing this 1 with the x value. So in that case your arm will be again as a fixed condition, your gear C will be rotated with plus x revolution, and over here you have to again multiply with x component, that is speed of gear C. So that's why here it will be minus x Tc by Tb, and similarly your equation for speed of gear A will be minus x Tc by Ta. Now if we consider the third condition, that if we are adding plus y revolution to each and every element of this assembly, so in that case your total motion can be the addition of your second and third row. Okay, so over here you can refer that the total motion for arm EF is equal to plus y. Similarly for gear C it will be x plus y, and for gear B it will be plus y minus of x Tc by Tb, and similarly over here plus y minus of x Tc by Ta. And this final row will be helpful to us for solving this numerical. Okay, so let's sort out this data in such a way that you have a column of speed of each and every element of this assembly. Okay, so now first we have to calculate the speed of gear B and gear C. Okay, so from this table you can refer that for gear C we have a simple equation, that is x plus y. So first of all we have to identify these two variables. Okay, so now to find out these variables we can consider the given data. So over here they have given that your arm is rotating with 18 rpm, or the speed of arm n arm is given. Now the n arm is equal to plus y over here, because your arm EF is containing plus y, so we can simply compare this value. So over here you can get that y is equal to 18 rpm. Now after getting this condition, now the second condition they have given that your gear A is fixed. Okay, so if you refer this data over here they have given that gear A is fixed. Now gear A having a equation, that is y minus x Tc by Ca. Okay, so if we are comparing this equation, that in that case we can simply mention that y minus x Tc by Ta is equal to 0. Now if you will put value of Tc and Ta in this data, then you can refer that from data of this Tc and Ta you can simply mention that 18 minus x 32 by 72 is equal to 0. Now by simplifying this equation you will be able to get the value of x, that is equal to 40.5. After getting this value of x and y, now we can simply say that speed of gear C, which is equal to x plus y from this table. So we can simply write down that x plus y, which is equal to 58.5 rpm. Now over here your answer is positive, so you can simply say that it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so this is a simple procedure. Now let's find out the second component, that is speed of gear B. Okay, so in that case we have to consider that to calculate the speed of gear B we have to solve this term. Okay, so over here we have to find out the number of teeth of gear C and gear B. Now in data they have given only the teeth of gear C. So first of all we have to find out the number of teeth of gear B. So for that we can simply consider this geometry. So from this diagram you can refer that this diameter of gear A is made up of mainly two terms, that is diameter of gear C plus diameter of gear B, and the remaining space is also containing a diameter of gear B, because this diameter of B, or we can say this gear B, will be rotating around this periphery. So we can simply say that this much distance will be also a diameter of gear B. So we can simply say it is 2 times diameter of gear B. So in this case we can simply say that your dA is equal to dC plus 2 times dB. So by simply dividing these two over here we can say dA by 2 is equal to dC by 2 plus dB. Now using this equation, if you want to calculate the number of teeth, then we have a simple relation that the pitch circle diameter is always proportional to the number of teeth of that gear. So in this case we can write down that 2 times TB is equal to TC plus TA. Okay, now by putting the value of TC and TA in this data, we can calculate the teeth of gear B, that is equal to 20. Okay, so now we have value of teeth of gear B, so we can calculate the speed of gear B. So speed of gear B is equal to y minus x TC by TB, and we have value of y and x, so we can put that value of y and x, TC and TB, and that will give us the minus 46.8 RPM. Okay, so this data is reflecting that your gear B is rotating in clockwise direction because it is containing a minus sign over here. So in this way, by simply following on simple steps and properly remembering the condition of this table, you can solve the example of epicyclic gear train. Few more numericals we will solve in our next session. Thank you.